I got actually late last night or early this morning. I'm not quite sure which. I got the firmware update for the GLAMOS, and got to see the new feature set there.
How'd you get it?
I was looking to
Email
see if it was available yet. I didn't get mine yet.
And then I got a second firmware update this afternoon, early afternoon. So I've been helping out, doing a little testing with it, and yeah, there's some very cool new functionality that's going to be pretty slick.
Nice.
So
I
yeah,
like the 30
what's that?
second 30-second TX, is it, or like the period that you can
Yeah,
send?
yeah, you
Oh,
can
that's
bring
pretty
that down, your transmit interval down to 30 seconds. That's, I guess, we can go over. It's let's see, is he on the call tonight?
Don't
Maybe
think
not.
so.
I knew he was
Okay.
just talking about something about distance or anything being added or not. I don't think that was added to there.
He did a lot of work on joins, and kind of the code behind that. A lot of things you don't necessarily see, but it works, and it will hold a join, and I guess reuse rather than rejoining. One of the cool things is now some of your settings are now stored to memory, and so you don't have to go through and reset those every time you power on, which that's huge. You don't have to reset your antenna each time, depending upon if you always use a particular antenna, you'd have to set that. But yeah, beyond that, that's not the only new parameter addition. If you go down to your antennas, you now not only have, I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, you kind of can. So rather than having just those 3 types of antennas, you have all these other types, right? And I guess the interface on the GLAMOS itself doesn't really allow you to name them or customize anything, but that name is going to go back through to the back end on or in your table data, and so you can associate any antenna change that you have by that name. You can correlate it with the data that's coming back through that table, which is cool. If you have a number of different antennas that you're wanting to test out in a location, so that's pretty slick.
Travis, does
Wait, so it will give you the DBI for the antennas?
You would know the DBI for the
antenna.
not
the any potential loss, or if it's accurate, if you were to connect it, or from like maybe connecting it through a cable, maybe to test to see if it was 100%, according to what they're marketing.
It's not really that type of device, but I think you're expecting some functionality out of this that it wasn't really designed for. This is going to give you the same numbers back as the 3 antennas that it comes with, but it allows you to have slots for different antennas where you're going to know what the performance should be on that setup. And you may know that because of a cable run, because of another meter that you use that's allowing you to calculate what numbers you should be seeing, and this helps you verify and validate those numbers that you're seeing, so which is cool. A number transmission power, you can change your transmission power up to 20, I believe. It's slick. A lot of cleanup was done. I'm pretty happy with now you have what a 1 of 2 or 2 of 2. There's multi-page menus now. It looks clean. I don't know. I've been playing with it. I've got it linked up to my Wi-Fi, and I that's something I didn't really use. I haven't used much on the GLAMOS. And does someone use that a lot on the GLAMOS that they could kind of talk about that? Okay.
The Wi-Fi?
Yeah, the Wi-Fi connection on it, like to
your.
your.
I use it to
phone?
connect. I use it to connect to my mobile hotspot. So when I'm out walking around, I'll just turn on my hotspot on my phone, and I'll have to turn it on the GLAMOS here, and it'll just automatically connect to that. A couple of things AP and I were talking about earlier was I went out and did some mapping, but I totally forgot to check to make sure that I was joined, and I didn't know if anything actually went through. I was like, son of a gun. If he was just like, yeah, make sure you join at the house before you leave and
Yeah.
everything. But as for the Wi-Fi, I have it connected and set up with my hotspot, and it works perfect. I mean, just go ahead, turn it on, and it connects right to it. And actually just finished updating for the new V2 for mappers, so I'm waiting for that to go through so I can kind of test out the data, and everything.
So what does that give you? Can you kind of explain what connecting to the Wi-Fi through a mobile hotspot gives you in terms of using it with the GLAMOS?
So I believe it will allow you to gather the RSS when it confirms a pinged message. I will get the RSSI and SNR values back to my GLAMOS. I've noticed that when I'm not connected on the Wi-Fi, like I won't get those results back, and I'll see that on here. Now I haven't checked to see if there's any differences on like through cargo or mappers being on Wi-Fi or not. I just noticed that on just the GLAMOS itself, when I get the confirmed messages, I get those values back in the confirmed. I did notice that change. And then it does allow me to, I guess, kind of give me that real time access when I'm connecting to cargo. I see my device right away or faster when it's connected to my hotspot. I don't know if that's quite accurate. If that's what at least what I've noticed. I don't know if there's anything else that I'm missing.
Travis, doesn't Slavin do some back end calculations on the back end to assist the device? Is that what the Wi-Fi is used for?
Yeah, because I mean, you should, if you're doing confirmed messages, you should be getting like those numbers regardless. I mean, without
Yeah,
Wi-Fi connectivity.
On mine, I've never connected mine to Wi-Fi. I'm guilty. But from what I understand is that when you're on Wi-Fi, you're able to then send the data to the GLAMOS app to say where you don't have signal. So that's the main key benefit of the GLAMOS, I think, and the app, the web app.
So that's just on the Walker app, right?
I think so.
Yeah, sorry. So I just got that kind of set up because for some reason I couldn't access the Walker app in the beginning. I was having trouble accessing with the server being where I was located in the US. I actually had to VPN and change it to the UK so I could access the Walker app, and so I kind of just got that up and running. But I've always had it connected to Wi-Fi, so I couldn't have seen the differences when it's not connected. All right.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, because and right now that's an issue. I'm glad you brought that up with the VPNs, because if you have if I put a mobile hotspot up on my phone and connect to it, it's what AT&T, then I can't use it without a VPN through the GLAMOS Walker system. Like nothing will load up on the map on the website if I go to app GLAMOS at all. But if I just connect directly, or don't use that as a hotspot, then everything's fine. So yeah, I don't know. I know this is going to be the last firmware release where it's kind of custom firmware for each individual, like a personalized firmware, and beyond, going beyond this, it's going to be more of a general release, which is going to be a lot easier on his side, I think. So I don't know. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the new functionality. And if you haven't played with one of these, or if you have one and you haven't played with Helium Vision, in conjunction with the GLAMOS, it's really a pretty slick little setup. So.
Travis, is that thing with the multiple hotspots capability? Is that fixed yet, or is that not yet?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
Okay, thanks.
But
it is.
saying that, when I've realized after Mappers V2 got released, I was just looking through all the data on the Mappers site, and I just without realizing it before, because the data was just the different RSSI and SNRs, I can now see how if multiple hotspots are in that, like, visible from that hex now. So that gives you a huge benefit to
Yeah.
that point, because you like, yeah, if you picked it up in the past, that data is now available to us, where before we didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, having those RSSI values are really, really crucial and really important. It's helped me a lot with figuring out how well coverage is going to be in any given location. Or not even just that, just like what happens if I wanted to, put up a sensor somewhere else, or how far could I go out, and will it actually communicate with my antenna? So that's been actually really fun. And actually it kind of helps out, because when I take my dog for a walk, it's like I gotta get some exercise anyway. And it's like, oh wait, let me not forget my GLAMOS, and I'll connect it in my bag or whatever, and then just go and have it ping every minute. So, but if we can get that slowed down, or every 30 seconds or something, it'll be easier for me when I'm driving around in the car. Make sure I usually put my flashers on and stuff, because I have to drive slow. But I've noticed that when I'm trying to send a ping, like, through these houses that are near me, those RSSI values are super high, like 125, 120, 130. So, I guess that will tell me essentially that, like, I would have trouble in that direction. I've also noticed a difference too, like being in front of my house, where I'm not even that far, but I guess because of the concrete and the brick being in front, I would have bad RSSI values. And then when I would go stand next to my neighbors that doesn't have brick, the RSSI and SNR values are really good. So that was really helpful in figuring out, I guess, how material blocks the radio frequency.
So in the manner that you use that, do you put a lot of hotspots, onto the device, or are you just putting yours so you can, because there's different, I guess, kind of ways to use these devices, right?
So kind of what I've been doing lately, I kind of want to, like, help some of the hotspot owners around my location, especially some of the lone wolves. So I would actually go drive to that area and then just start using my GLAMOS, and then so they can kind of see some different reward and mining activity on their hotspot. And when I go back, I'll see that it actually pinged to their hotspot, and then I'll see how far, where I was located, and then that hotspot's name and how it's interacted with that hotspot and stuff. So that's kind of like what I've been doing, really, because I kind of mapped my area, my development, maybe a little bit too much. You can only do too much mapping in your development.
Well, and so when you go to your map in GLAMOS, I mean, what does it look like once you go to your area, right? Because it's not showing all hotspots on this, right?
Yeah, I like, personally, I've put in all the hotspots in my town. That's and there's probably about 12, 15 now.
Oh, okay.
So I had to do that manually, putting the gateway IDs, I think, into it. And
Okay.
but once they were there, you can click on to the individual gateway hotspot, and then click all receive signals, and then you can see, like, a kind of, I don't know if you've seen the TTN map before.
Yeah.
It with all the lines, you can then see all the lines going to where you've mapped. And I on my map before, I saw that, I was like, why don't I get signal in this one space? And I could see out of the kind of, like, all the lines coming out of the gate, the hotspot, that there was this one building that was blocking all the signal going down the rest of the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I put all the hotspots in my town, and I live in Houston, so it's there's quite a few here. But here, let me share my screen if I can for a second.
Yeah, I only had like a handful, so it's not like I had a lot to choose from. Too.
Is this coming through? Can you see this?
Yeah, we can see it good.
Okay, so yeah, this is this is the GLAMOS Walker interface. And so if I click on this guy, I can then so I get and this should pull up.
Did you do that manually or?
No.
Okay. You had some help.
Okay, so here we go. And so if you look at this, it's not quite formatted because the gateway IDs are so long on Helium. It's going to kind of overrun here, but you can see it still does have your RSSI, your SNR, and you know, just kind of running over. And so you still get all the data there and get your spreading factor and bandwidth. But let's see. So you have these circles and you have these boxes, and we should be able to see the.
If you go to
You
the
might
one
have to
that
zoom
had the
in,
dots around
right?
it.
To see the lines, maybe? Or I know I had to do that on mine for some reason.
What were you saying?
I don't see any of. I don't see any like dots around these ones here, but where you were previously, there's some.
So if we hit like.
Yeah, click on that one. That one looks like it's. Ooh. It is a bit finicky, especially if there's mapped points next to it. But if you zoom right in and then click receive signals, it will show up all the lines.
I haven't really been
mapping much.
I don't leave the house very often. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit finicky. When you get it to display, then you hit that receive signals and it shows you all the red lines going to it, which is pretty sweet.
There we go. Okay.
What are the blue dots versus
there
the
it
blue
is.
squares?
The blue squares are the hotspots.
And the blue dots?
The blue dots are where you were located and sent the ping from your GLAMOS device.
And so you don't have to run these in continuous mode. You can just, you know, go to a point and then just, you know, take a reading on all spreading factors and, you know, or you can repeat that, you know, it can kind of do like a one-off or you can have it loop.
You can do odds or evens.
So look at that line right there. That's crazy that it decided to send the packet through that hotspot and just nothing.
Oh, it's not that crazy actually. If I mean, it depends the elevation of that hotspot. It depends I mean, if you've got line of sight to something, then sure. I mean, you'll definitely see things like that.
It's going to be the first one, I guess, to pick it up out of the group, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, but it doesn't necessarily go by that, unfortunately.
Okay.
It's not necessarily. I mean, it should be first in, but first in doesn't necessarily. I mean, does it? It can go. It doesn't mean nearest, I guess, is the way to put it, right?
Okay.
I guess it's the lowest latency that wins.
It should be, but it also is balanced against your RSSI, I believe. And so
yeah,
I don't think it's just a straight, you know, this was first in. I believe it's first in balanced against other factors. And I know that's changed at some point, but okay. Yeah, so there's.
I don't have a GLAMOS, but with my little mapper, it's one of the cube cells. I've gotten just under 18 miles in the area I'm in. It's not necessarily flat. There's some rolling hills. It's not a direct line of sight, but I was pretty impressed by that shot with a $5 2 dBi antenna to a 6 dBi single story house roof mounted antenna.
Yeah, you're gonna see differences there. Is Eddie still? Are you still on the call, man? Yeah. What's up, man? So you got some new toys, and Are you getting some new toys on Friday?
I ordered them. Yeah, I'm gonna try and build that whatever it's called, the network analyzer. So, but it might take a little while for the printed circuit board to come in. So.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
Minimum order of 3, so I'll have 2 extra if any. But if I screw one up. Yeah. I know where you live.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. Well, and you got what several RFM 95s too. Those are useful for all sorts of things, man. So
yeah, I think it was like 5 in a pack. So
yeah, that's cool. I was I was messing with something last night that I kind of made a mess of because, well, not a mess. It's just I had to do it in a manner that I really wasn't super happy with. But I on one of those Dragino gateways, like one of the light gateways or data only gateways, I wanted to put it inside of this case, but the problem was, and it fit almost perfectly with the standoffs and the way it lined up, except the SMA port was too close to the wall. So I'm like, damn, you know, and the SMA is, you know, set into the and soldered onto the board. And so I thought about it and, you know, tried to find a better way to position it. And there just wasn't a better way. So what I did, I went ahead and got the air out, got the hot air and desoldered it, and then turned it 90 degrees and soldered it onto the bottom of the board. And so it just feeds that cable up, because you know, your 4 pins on the outside are your ground pins and your signals on the inside. So it doesn't really matter, you know, how it's oriented. You know, it's going to work the same. And it fits, it just fits golden.
Did you void the warranty on that, Travis?
Warranties are for sissies.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, you know, I got to put it in a pretty clean case, you know, like, so it's got power over Ethernet now. This thing is.
So you have to use it with the cover off then, right? I'm assuming on the Dragina, or did you make a new hole?
No, it's got like an interior, like an inside little white box, plastic box on it. But,
okay.
This has a USB port on it, and so I can plug in that, and it goes to the USB on the board. So I can, you know, program it without having to open the box up, which is cool, or interface with it. That could be used for storage, I guess, or extra storage, you know, on the board. And this is Wi-Fi, and then this is just an N for the LoRa antenna. But it's pretty neat. Those cases, you can order these for like $50 a pop for these guys, and they're, you know, I guess what, anodized powdered aluminum, and you can get them with either 2 or 4 in ports on them, or in-type ports. They're pretty slick little cases.
But you have to solder the connector to use them. You have to do the operation, right? Like you did, correct?
No, you don't. But to do it the way I wanted to, I had to.
Okay.
Because just with the standoffs, the way the standoffs on the board or on the box just fit so nicely. Like on this, I have all 4 holes connected onto the box. It fits great, but you know, I did have to move that SMA. Which wasn't a big deal, really. But I could see if you have to do a lot of these, it would, you know, because you got to get the hot air, and it can be kind of a pain. But there's no components really around that SMA, so it's very easy to pull off with hot air, you know, without, like, you know, blowing other components off the board. I'm horrible at that. I'm not very good with hot air or reflow stuff. I've been, I guess I talked a little bit about these Dragino sensors, these little, like the door, and, you know, with some of you on the call this week on Discord, and I was having problems. I couldn't get this thing to join. I have a few over here, and I couldn't get them to join. And it's just like a little reed, you know, door switch. And it was a battery issue, is what I mean, and I kind of dove deep on it. Yeah.
Huh.
Just those little, yeah,
the ones that, yeah, I've got one on my door.
yeah, exactly. And what it came down to, and this is ridiculous, the battery is a coin cell that goes in it, and it's a 3-volt battery. Well, they apparently, when that drops to about 2.8 volts,
yeah,
it won't
cuts
join.
out. Yep, I had the same problem probably about 3 weeks ago. Batteries that I got out of a box, I think they died in like a week.
In transit, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I replaced them, and they're all good now. But
yeah,
What
I ended up doing. Yeah.
What's the voltage? What's the voltage where it goes out to launch? Where were you getting that?
2.8.
2.8. Okay.
On a 3-volt battery, yeah.
Okay.
They've got the LDSO2s now with AA's, I think.
Yes, they do. I think they're AAA's. In them, I could be wrong there, but a little larger case. But I mean, the same functionality. What's cool, if you could see this, and on this one, okay, there's 2 vias in the middle here that you can power it through. But if you look, and this one has not been soldered onto, but where is it? Yeah, okay, it's underneath these here, but you can see these other two vias right here, where it says water leak sensor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can use these either as a door or window sensor or as a water leak sensor, just by hooking that up. And they have two separate firmwares that are available that you can download and just reflash them. So, and these things cost what, like 12 USD. So they're super, super cheap devices that, work on the Helium network that you can get, I mean, a yes, no use case going. And they have some functionality on them. So if I leave a door open, it can alarm if this contact has been open for over 30 seconds, then you'll get a different alarm signal sent, in addition to just any open and close events.
I did wonder what that was because I saw that in the payload. I was like, alarm? There's no buzzer on there or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and you can catch that. You can operate on that in like whatever you're using for dashboarding, for data cake, for example. Which is neat, and it has a full like AT message setup, and so you can change all of this through. And it was driving me nuts why this wasn't joining, and I wasn't getting anything on my console at all, and yet I was getting a radio signal. I mean, I was, I had a spectrum analyzer, just a handheld spectrum analyzer, and I could see that it was trying to join. And I mean, it wasn't far from a hotspot. I've got one over here, but apparently it was misfiring on the radio. So, yeah, I just hooked it up to that little mobile power supply that, yeah, it just came right up. So,
Hey, have you found a way to get that report? How many seconds a door has been open? My understanding is it only reports the number of minutes a door has been open. Has anyone been able?
I've never been able to, but I yeah, like you say, I've only been able to get the minutes out of it.
well, there's something called alarming. If you could pull up the AT command set, I believe it's called alarming that you can turn on and off, and that's for if it's been over this point in time. Now there was a bug, and this is probably what the may be related. There was a bug in the last or the second to last version of the firmware where it would override one of the events if another event happened, and so it would just keep postponing, and it wouldn't fire even though. And I think they updated the firmware and kind of recoded some of that logic. So if you haven't looked in a while, that may have been addressed. But you should be able to get the last time opened and last time closed and just calculate that, right? I mean, service, like in your dashboard or server side.
Okay, yeah, okay, maybe okay, good idea.
I'm not quite sure if, cool.
I haven't played around with the firmware or anything, or how are you flashing the firmware? What cable are you using? I'm quite a noob at flashing firmware on.
Yeah, you just use these pins right here, and then like some, I don't know, some easy clips, because the dot pitch on those pins is a little off, and it's hard to hit them with like most cables. But if you get like yeah, these guys, let me see, I think I have some over here. Yeah, like easy clips. These things are great, and broke them. If you don't have a set of these, they're just fantastic. But they have these tiny little grippers, that come out.
Okay.
Come out the ends.
Oh yeah.
And then so that'll just pull the pin back right up against it. And then on this end, you have these two pins. I mean, it's spring loaded, and you have these two pins that just a cable, like that you use all over the place, will plug down inside of those. And so yeah, and there's a lot of different ones, different brands of these things, and some of them are ridiculously expensive. These are called easy hooks, and these are, I don't know, they're more expensive than you would think they are, but the difference that they make, from just the El Cheapo ones that you get in the mail with certain products is huge. So they're really handy.
Travis, do you ever get a sensor and not open it up? and just use it in the package that it came in?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've used probably.
I-
I know. I'm stepping back and thinking. No, no, I probably haven't. But
okay.
but most of the stuff I don't get in complete form or in like
Oh,
finished,
right.
you know,
Okay.
commercial products. I got one of the new SenseCAP M1 gateways in,
Ooh.
and immediately, just it's actually kind of cool now. I don't know if it's in here, but I put it in a case that Eddie gave me. This IP, rated outdoor case, and yeah. But I got the rest of the box over there somewhere. Yeah, I've kind of been doing this on a lot of gateways lately. Like this is using that board or that kind of plate that Joey designed to put like OG hotspots into those external enclosures. But
Oh, so maybe you could help me figure out like how to maybe do this. So I've been working on this. Where is it? All right, so I'm gonna hold this up. I don't know if you guys probably saw it real quick, whatever. So it's just a little solar panel here
ooh, cool,
that I
man.
had set up, and I'm just gonna put this down so it's easier. I can talk. I tested it out with my with my Raspberry Pi I had here, and it worked perfectly fine out off grid. But my goal is to have this. So I have a 3 dBi set up here with the Dragino light hotspot using the Gateway RS in here, and it's my lightning arrestor. Ah, shit. And so my vision is to have this screen here on the case. It'll be on the case here. I'll cut out a hole for the cover, and I'll just have this right here with the. Let me unplug this from the breadboard. With the ultrasonic sensor that is going to sit like right underneath it. And what that's what I would like to have this set up for would be like a LoRa survey or a product advertisement tool where, especially with COVID or anything, you would just essentially just like put your hand above it, and it would measure the distance for a yes vote that it changes, and then on the screen, anyone can say like, did you like the product that you just purchased outside, or if you were at like a farm, or if you were a farmer's market or anything like that, and they wanted to know how well their users like their products or which product they should bring more of next time. A lot of times, like, you would tell them to fill out a survey online or this or that, and a lot of times people don't actually go and do that part. So how could we get people to interact with us right then and there, and have it be quick and simple, and then also utilize helium and LoRa? So I figure maybe we can set up with the ultrasonic sensor that a person could just read the message off the screen, use the light gateway to transfer that data packet, and it would just be right underneath, and you just kind of swipe essentially to answer that question, and then the owner will be able to do whatever they need to with that information. It would be 100% portable. It'll be connected to the solar panel, so it'll be portable with like on wheels, so you can bring it anywhere you want or something like that. So it's just a little idea that I was working on.
I like that it's contact free.
Yeah.
Question: how? Because you mentioned you're using Gateway RS. Are you going to make that operate as, or kind of spoof being a node as well? Is that what you're doing? And you're going to run that using what, GPIO on? I'm trying to follow. I mean,
no, so I would have to have, yeah. So for the sensor, you mean to run the sensor?
Are you trying to run the sensor node on the gateway?
No, no, yeah, no. I would have another board attached to it for the sensor. Essentially, the gateway would just be used to transfer the data packets to make sure.
I got you. So you
and
could have
available.
20 of those sensors in the field, and then one of those gateways. And
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you were trying to run something on Gateway RS as well for the display driver or whatnot.
Yeah. No. I haven't even thought about it like that. I don't even know if that's
How do you like running Gateway RS on the Dragino?
So I was using set it up with the staging console. It was once I got it set up from the firmware setup, it was actually kind of cool. I think Dev, the other mod, he had one, so we were going over just kind of testing it out. Sending packets back and forth and just checking out the accuracy. I really liked it. It's really cool. It's awesome. You're not gonna mine off of it, just so anyone's completely aware. But if you want to learn just about how to, what Gateway RS is, how these data packets are being sent, I mean, it was good to just as educational, and at the same time, I can use this as a packet forwarder in the future as well. So, which would be helpful for sensor deployments and things. So, but I liked it a lot. I'm still trying to figure out the best ways to use it and have it set up, but I do have it up and running. It was a little bit of a learning curve, but once I got past that, it was fine. So I definitely would recommend others to check out.
Absolutely, and we have a guide up on setting those up, so that's pretty easy to follow, I think.
Mhm.
But one thing that you didn't mention, you can SSH into that. I mean, it's not locked down, so you can SSH into it. You can inspect all of the logs if you really want to learn LoRaWAN. That's a good way. I mean, they retail at what, 109, I think. Although I saw them going on eBay for $1,200. I don't know. That's ridiculous. But
It's crazy. It was like after we talked about it or something like that. I don't know. It went like I went to go look for another one. I couldn't find it. It was like, uh-oh.
So Simon, how often do you update it? Like, do you update it once a week, once a month with the latest Gateway RS, or how do you, or do you just load it on once and get it working, and you're not trying to keep it up to date?
I just loaded on once as of right now, because I had to connect my other hotspots so to sync those on my network. So I actually had to unplug it and ran out of Ethernet ports and lines and stuff, and I didn't want it interfering. But I just did the firmware update once.
Okay.
And that's it. I haven't checked to see if I needed to continue updates on a weekly basis or anything like that.
Okay.
now you mentioned something that I guess is kind of the elephant in the room here, about you were using staging console.
Yeah, because I think that's what was set up with it. You couldn't have it integrate with the console.
Because Gateway RS is currently in beta right now.
Yeah.
And works. But has anyone messed around with that? As far as what the limitations are and what's holding it onto staging?
I did mess around with it a bit, Travis, specifically before mappers hit the V2. I was actually successfully mapping in mappers with the Dragino, which was really cool to see that in action. But it, of course, was not integrating properly to cargo. Well, I guess it was, but there was no location showing at all. So the device would actually show on cargo, but the location would not show up.
Okay. Using the Dragino hotspots?
Yep.
Because they're not on the chain, because they haven't been asserted on.
I think that's probably why.
Yep. And then Joey did confirm that actually I wouldn't be able to do any sort of mapping with the Dragino Gateway RS. I am using a GLAMOS as well, just for a little extra info.
We do have a timeline up with milestones on it, and now it doesn't have dates. It doesn't have full dates on all of the milestones for light gateway or light hotspots to be completely integrated here. So yeah, I don't know. I still think it's absolutely worthwhile, and the staging console is open. I mean, you heard Dal. If you want to jump in and get testing, start testing on staging. I very rarely use production anymore, to be quite honest with you. it's I mean, it benefits Helium as a whole to have a lot of people testing on staging, because we do very short sprints or iterations that allow us to, you know, be very nimble. But you know, the testing, the more testers that we have that can, you know, throw their eyes and, you know, bang on it before it goes over to production, it really helps build a much more solid product, you know, when that does push to production. And so if you don't have an account on staging, pick one up. Now, just understand that there are some limitations there. You can't have a device on both of them. You know, you can't have one on production and staging. When you onboard a device on staging, it may take a bit, you know, a bit of time for that to onboard. So don't freak out there. And it's staging. I mean, it's not a production environment. And so, you know, keep that in mind. But I think it's, I don't know, like I say, I use it all the time. And, you know, we'd love to have other people, especially, you know, folks from this call, you know, who are actually kind of in the trenches doing, you know, device development and work with sensors, you know, who get their hands dirty with staging. Yeah.
Tell me if my understanding is right. If I have a device set up on staging, there's no way really to hit a button and just move it over to production. I'd have to essentially start all over and reset it up, and my integrations and everything from staging. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
I don't think you can push. Can you?
Right now you cannot.
Okay.
I think that tomorrow, with what Dal was talking about, there's some functionality that
Maybe soon. Maybe soon.
Yeah, I know how much people hate it when I use that word.
Okay, that's.
You know, Dal mentioned that a new release does drop tomorrow afternoon. So you know, put your eyes on it and, you know, check out because the functionality on this is going to be cool. I don't know if everyone has been kind of watching or playing around with flows and some of the new work that, you know, on flows and the new functionality that's going into, you know, console 2.0. There's some significant changes, and yeah, I think everyone's going to really get a kick out of it. So make sure. Good.
Do you know if there's any work in the area of providing a little more information on the packet sorts of things, like frame counts and packets, so you can kind of sense what percentage of my packets are really going through? Because that's an area I'm really struggling with right now.
Okay, there's a lot of work that's been done on that, and a lot of it has made its way through, you know, to production. For example, you now have with the tabs, I guess, where on your feed on a device. I'm sorry. So I can see when I have like Mac commands pushed through, and I have a tab. I can see, you know, what the payloads were there. You know, if I'm pushing things down to a node to change properties on it, you know, that's in a separate tab. I can see that. I can now, within the debug console, that's, you know, broken up a lot more, I guess, granularly on what type of, you know, message it is, you know, which direction it's going, you know, the status of it. You know, we have like, you know, an integration fails on a response, you know, I'll have a little icon there that'll let me know and get to the, you know, source of a problem a lot faster now.
What about an area where I'm struggling is, like, I know my sensors sent, because of I count the frame count, it's sending 24 messages a day.
Okay.
And only 3 packets are getting through. So like I'm measuring kind of flow, and I'm manually calculating all that from back end spreadsheets.
Well, how are you going to do that though? And that comes back to the thing we were talking about with the GLAMOS and another channel, like using a mobile phone. I mean, how are you going to know that you didn't hear something if that's the only way that you're receiving the data is through this channel, and you're not receiving the data, then I mean that's, how do you determine point of failure at that point without a separate channel, right? Am I understanding this correctly?
I'm not sure I understand.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Because I was gonna say, I know it may not help you all the way, but I know with the GLAMOS, it'll give you a percentage. There's a list here that'll let you know like how many packets that were sent on each spreading factor, and then how many that went through and which ones had failed. And then you can kind of see, like, you know, you can kind of use that data. But without this, yeah, I guess that would be really tough to find that information out without this tool. But that's where I use this to figure out, you know, how many has gone through successfully and how many has failed. I can see that with the GLAMOS. I don't know if
But
there's
you're
a way
just
to do that
using,
without.
you could just use acknowledgement packets, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's not really good practice to, you know, have everything require acknowledgement. We don't want our sensors getting big heads, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was bad.
You had the I don't want to change the subject or anything, but you had the I know Paul came on and I missed that. The one the one freaking Helium Hacks I couldn't make was the great presentation with Paul from Disc 91, I believe, and he brought up the Wio. So I got my Wio terminal in. Haven't had the chance to break ice with it, and I just started the process. But I think you had one, right, Travis? Did you have one?
Yeah, that's what we were just talking to Eddie about, that he ordered, and, you know, is getting the RFM 95, like all the stuff in the mail, and he ordered 3 boards but only needs 1. Is what he was saying.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, or I've got that Frankenstein board that I built up before I got the PCB. That anyone's welcome to that if you want it. But yeah, those are cool, man. And he's also kind of waiting on. Hey, it was good seeing you, Mike, man. Take it easy. He's kind of waiting on the same issue that's holding the GLAMOS back, and it's on Helium's end. You know, it's in. You can track it in GitHub on the repo, but it's in order to get, you know, some more data back about which hotspots are listening. Yeah, it's got to be a change on Helium's end. We're just, as everyone knows, you know, the team has been very busy with other things recently. So, yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I mean, it's gonna be neat to get those validators, you know, up and in play. I think it's really gonna help out with stability and, you know,
I can't wait.
Of the network. Yeah,
I can't wait to see how that activities improves. I think it really is going to improve. Hopefully we'll get those block times down too to 60 seconds or under. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I can show you this, I guess. This is very much Frankenstein up. This is the SenseCAP.
Oh, you took it apart already.
Well, yeah, this is that case that Eddie gave me, and it has these LEDs on the side.
Okay.
And they just feed through on a ribbon. I didn't break it; it comes off.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, this is the M1 unit, and what's kind of neat, you can see that the this SMA just has a little UFL dongle that goes actually to the concentrator, so it makes it really easy to, you know, just break that off into
and connect an
N type. Yeah. So,
nice.
Yeah, it's
is that like metal or is it plastic? Like the case?
Yeah, it's like aluminum.
Aluminum. Okay.
Bad little case. Because those M1s have a fan on them, and so you see on the back it has kind of a radiator, so you can use the case itself to
help cool it down,
radiate heat. Because this is a completely sealed enclosure.
Okay.
Where's that enclosure from? Is that the one that you mentioned a while back?
Eddie gave it to me. He's
okay.
Yeah. I don't know. He had a few of them, and
okay.
We were out eating tacos, and I gave him some antennas, and he gave me a case. And
I like the stick one.
Nice. Back end deals.
It's nice little case though.
That's legit.
Yeah. So shoot, I don't know. That's I've got kind of what I've been up to this past week.
I've just loaded up my GLAMOS map. I've got a good example.
Oh yeah, jump on it. Cool.
Is that cool to share?
Yeah.
2
Let's
seconds.
get it, AP.
Share screen. see that?
Ooh, look at that work. Oh man.
It's a golf course there. Yeah, that's just that's an attic placement.
Jeez, look at whoa.
Nice.
It's not well. It's pretty good
Sorry,
coverage. That
I
one.
can't sit.
That's some nice coverage. It looks. That's some pretty solid distance. It looks like.
Yeah, and this is just me going around my town.
How?
With the GLAMOS.
See,
Pretty
that's
cool.
great. I like that. I like that. Is there a way with GLAMOS where I can, if I want, have all the hotspots loaded up, or I can just show like a particular one and only show things that are going through that one hotspot?
I'm not too sure. I've added these in manually.
Right.
It's just because there's not that many in the area, so I just added a couple in. But this is just me clicking on the individual hotspots and then hitting the receive signals, and that's showing all the points just from that one hotspot. I don't know if there's another one that I can show you with goodish signal.
Do you were all those hotspots? I don't know if you know or not. Are there indoor antennas or outdoor? Do you know?
I don't know for some of these.
Okay.
That
I'm
I think
just
this was a
wondering.
bobcat. And that's urbanish. Yeah, it's urban like area, I'd say.
Okay.
But this is an open golf course here, so I was picking up signals also from this one, which is well, it's actually there's quite a big hill in the way, and I was surprised they even got anything over that way.
Oof.
Yeah, it's pretty nice coverage, that one. There is another one that is pretty crazy.
Yeah, you definitely got me beat. You definitely got me beat.
I was shocked at this one all the way over here. But yeah.
What's the distance on some of those longer shoots?
I think the longest, I think that might have been 7 or 10 kilometers in some of them.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty good. But yeah, one of the instances what I mentioned earlier about a building, there's a building here, and it blocks the signal going along this road here. I was like, why? Yeah. And it wasn't until the GLAMOS app that I could see that.
So you know what could potentially be good? Like take like exactly all those lines are set up and then maybe like connect them and then shade in all those areas, and then we can see those spots that where you didn't get that coverage, and then you can really find those dead zones or those dead pockets, you know what I mean? Like that. It's like, so if
that's
we
kind of like the TTM map. I think that's what they do on
okay,
how they show the coverage, I believe. It's not a great hotspot there.
You can export this into like a KML and pull it into Google Earth with 3D buildings, and
that's pretty cool. Is that this function here, that export button? Maybe.
yeah.
No, I don't think this does it directly. I don't think
Okay.
this does KMLs, but there's some great utilities online that will transfer that or convert that over for you.
I do love it.
Oh, thanks, AP. That was awesome.
No, that was awesome. I'm apparently doing mapping wrong. I think I had like 4 dots on mine. And oh my goodness. Yeah.
I was
Get
just
to work,
spamming the button.
That's wild.
I think the Mappers V. on the mappers data, I think I covered nearly every hex up until a few recent new hotspots that have popped up. Like I covered everything possible that I think is possible.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Which antenna are you using on yours?
I think I got so on the GLAMOS, I'm just using the large antenna that was there. But for my main mapper that I use, which isn't going into GLAMOS, I've got a 1.2, I think, on there. So yeah, and I think in the EU we're a little bit we've got the SF12, so it helps us out a bit in terms of
Draining
range
your
and noise
batteries
and stuff. Yeah, and draining the batteries. Yeah, I think it lasts about probably 12 hours. The GLAMOS does, sending out SF12 all day long.
Nice. Have you noticed a difference at all between the two antenna sizes and the GLAMOS and what was it? You said there's TT.
To be honest, I've just been using the largest antenna.
Okay. No, I was just wondering. That's all. All right.
That's all right.
I've been testing. Like here's a Taugless. It's like a stick-on flat antenna. This is a Molex, and then I've got a number of these, but you'll find these on a lot of devices, like even on mobile, mobile like cell phone hotspots. These are just stuck onto the inside, and it's just a pattern, antenna. This is but testing these, being able to connect this up to a test unit and get differences. I mean, I'm looking forward to that, being able to say which antenna I'm using with the GLAMOS. And so you can really test a lot of those, because really a lot of the use of the GLAMOS, at least for me personally, isn't so much validating a hotspot location, but testing what a sensor that I'm wanting to build up, what it looks like with a different type of antenna on it. If I want the antenna to be completely inside the enclosure, for example, and I don't want it something sticking out, and how do I go through and kind of validate that I'm getting the coverage I want with those.
I've been looking for some of those stick-on ones, because I've got, well, one of my mapping devices, TT Go, that I've got in my car, and it keeps falling over. And I'm thinking I could just get like a stick-on antenna and just have it on the windscreen or something.
The best way to get them is ask for them. Seriously, from a company, ask them for some samples of some of those stick-on antennas. All of those came from just asking for samples. You just go to Taugless. They've got a form on their website. It's like, do you want to test out some antennas? Fill out this form, and then they just ship you a bunch of antennas. So.
Holy shit, cool.
I'd like to try testing some 4G hats.
Still having issues on those guys?
Oh, is that for me?
Oh, I don't know who said that. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm trying to figure out what kind of parts I'm experimenting with different things, and I don't want to spend all this money on all these different ones. So it would be great to test out like 4G hats and other kind of off-grid stuff for to know who I'm going to go with.
I got you. I thought Eddie had said that. He was we were talking the other day, and I know he's been working with 4G hats, and he was getting kind of fed up with them. There were some issues with the boards, and he's like, so I'm just gonna mail this to you, okay? I'm like, no. He's been having issues. You might want to talk to him about what he's been trying with 4G hats.
Is that EddieE?
Yeah. Well, he's incognito on a lot of these calls, but yeah, it's EddieE.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know. There's so many manufacturers, and I'm afraid that it's a headache.
Yeah. And depending upon what what kind of device you're using, you might not need a hat. I don't know if these are legit full mining devices, or if you have USB control over your ports, or there's a lot of questions that go into it, but there might be a better way than just dealing with hats. But I talked to Eddie. He's been actively playing with them a lot lately, so he probably knows more than I do right now.
Cool.
Well, shoot, I guess we once again ran well over an hour, but I've been having a good time. I have Hope everyone else has enjoyed hacks this week. I really enjoyed listening. I wish they could have stuck around a little longer, but I understand they got work to be done. So yeah, like I say, I'm gonna cut out and probably get a bite to eat, and then I will edit this up and get it put up on YouTube, and then just give a shout in the hacks channel and or in community chat or something, let you know that it's up. But if you have not subscribed to the Helium Hacks Happy Hour playlist, I don't know, I think that will can automatically notify you, if a new video goes up. So you don't have to keep checking it or whatnot, because I know you're checking it like mad hamsters, right? Shit.
F5 all day.
Like and
Yeah, right.
subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, you'll see it down there. Just give me a like. Okay. Anyway, I want to see some projects that are coming out of these Helium developer kits. I've sent a lot of them out. I'm excited to see some of the projects that folks are working on with them. I want to have kind of a show and tell Helium Hacks Happy Hour coming up, where everyone gets 5 or so minutes just to quickly demo some project they're working on,
Cool.
And I think that would be a lot of fun. So anything, it doesn't have to be the Helium Hacks, the Helium dev kit, anything you have going on that is running on the Helium network, get something knocked out, and let's do a show and tell. If not next week, the week after, let's do this soon.
Okay.
I think that'd be a lot of fun. So
Cool.
But with that, folks, I had a great time, and I will see hopefully everyone next week. See you guys. Adios.
Thanks, T. Have a good one.